Hi, I'm Catherine DiOrio, and this week on Check Please, history teacher Kevin Palmer says it's about time the world recognizes Chicago is filled with amazing taco joints. And he says his pick is the closest thing to perfection that he's found. But IT CEO Haris Raza says taco joints are nice, but if you want a more refined experience with wonderful service and a beautiful setting, he'll provide you with all the information. Up first, paralegal Mary Parsons says judging by the other two selections, her pick lands right down the middle. She says for a taste of something familiar and still a bit different, follow her to Clark Street and gather at the Gundis.
No one knows about the Kurdish food, and it's like Mediterranean, Middle Eastern food, but still it's different with the spices.
My daughters called me one day and she said, Papa, can we open a restaurant in Chicago? And I say, sure. What kind of restaurant? She says, well, maybe a Kurdish. And I say, sure, why not?
Our success, the reason it's him. He's just a great chef, and then like I said, I just learned everything from him. He was like telling me what should we do with the Kurdish spices, and he was saying if you put this spices in this food, the taste would be better. And then when we would do it, and then when we tried it was like amazing.
I feel very good because to see the people, when the people say, wow, this is good, then I feel good, very good.
So Mary, you say the Gundis is creative Kurdish cooking. Why'd you choose it?
So it's just a few blocks from my place, and I saw that a Kurdish restaurant was opening, and I've never seen a Kurdish restaurant in Chicago, and I really love ethnic food. And so I decided to check it out and instantly fell in love. It's so different. The flavors are super unique. They are familiar, but they have this little twist on them. Like, they have this spicy lentil soup, and when I tried it, it was like eating a cloud. It was so smooth, but creamy and light and just delicious. And then we also got the baba ganoush. I'm not a baba ganoush fan, but their baba ganoush is by far the best I've ever had. Like, I crave it. And then for our entrees, like the stuffed chicken is phenomenal. It's in this spicy, creamy sauce, and it's stuffed with spinach and cheese, and it's like, even if you aren't an adventurous eater, you will still love this dish. Like, whenever I go there with friends or family, I always tell them, if you want to play it safe, get the stuffed chicken. You will not be disappointed.
Well, Kevin, what'd you think?
The word unique is what came to mind. I immediately began thinking unique but familiar, like you said. Every single dish that I had, and there were four of us. We brought some friends with us, and we sampled each other's, and every single dish, it was like, I refer to it as a different symphony. It was almost as if it was a different composer that I just found unique.
I thought it was hit or miss. The things that hit really hit, and they were like amazing. I mean, astoundingly good. The things that fell flat, I wouldn't say they actually fell flat. I would say that they weren't as amazing as some of the other dishes. I will say that the baba ganoush, and we had another eggplant dish.
The Martin special?
Yeah, it's crazy good. That's all I can say. I would walk from the suburbs back to that place just to have it. It's absolutely amazing.
That's a commitment.
Yeah, right?
It is.
That's an endorsement there.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a Kurdish restaurant. It's the only Kurdish restaurant in Chicago. And Kurdish food is, it's interesting because it depends kind of where the Kurds are nomadic and they're shepherds, so it really depends where they are. The owners of this restaurant are in Turkey on the border of Syria, so you're going to get more of those flavors than Kurdish from Iran or something of that nature.
We had the lamb. The lamb shank was amazing.
I know that's what they're known for, but I've never actually had the lamb because I'm not a lamb person.
Well, neither's my partner, and he liked the lamb. Then we had the chicken dish that you'd mentioned, the stuffed chicken. That was incredible. It really was. The only one that seemed to have fallen a little flat was the lamb and veggie dish.
I had the shrimp, and I liked it. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was amazing. But the mussels, These were the biggest mussels I've ever seen in my life. You know, it was like right off of The Simpsons. I thought it was right by the nuclear plant. And the broth was absolutely excellent. It was absolutely stunning. So I really enjoyed that. I had a Mediterranean sea bass that was covered in a red sauce. I love Mediterranean sea bass, and I absolutely loved the sauce. However, the sea bass was absolutely covered up with the sauce. Someone who really likes sauce might really have a good time with that, and might really.
Sea bass is so delicate.
It's so delicate.
Yeah.
It's just so delicate. We also had the eggplant, and I had to really stop myself. We were with dinner guests because I was literally eating my dinner guests' food up. You know, every time they turned to talk to somebody, I'm in their plate taking more of that eggplant off it. It was absolutely excellent. It was amazing.
And even the staff there, you can tell most of them are either Turkish or it's very authentic. Like everything about the restaurant is authentic.
Well, Mary, you live so close by. Why don't you, kind of talk about where this is set? I mean, it's in a very vibrant, part of town. It's in Lakeview.
Yeah, there's tons of bars and restaurants in all of Lakeview, but actually where Gundis is located, it's kind of on this little dead stretch. Like there's like a one block, me and my husband call it like the dead zone.
It's like the only dead stretch in Lakeview.
Yeah, and it's kind of random. So it's nice if you're driving because there's always parking available. But so it's not necessarily like the prettiest block, but it's kind of like a little diamond in the rough on this little stretch. Gundis is like a gorgeous.
And that was nice about sitting at the banquette is that the windows are huge, so you get to see as people are going by, and I like people watching. I don't want to just see people in the restaurant. I like seeing what's going on outside as well.
It's totally part of the experience. Yeah. Well, Mary, you chose the Gundis. Sum it up for us.
So if you're willing to step outside the box and want to find some familiar flavors with a nice Kurdish twist, check out Gundis.
And Kevin?
I think that if you're familiar with Middle Eastern food, that this is an opportunity to expand your horizons with Middle Eastern food because it's not necessarily typical. It's unique.
And hers?
It's a great place to go if you want to experience new flavors and unique combinations of flavors in a place that not only you can find good parking, but they have great service.
You can try the Kurdish cuisine for yourself at the Gundis Kurdish Kitchen, 2909 North Clark Street, 773-904-8120. Open for lunch and dinner every day except closed on Tuesdays and brunch on the weekends. Reservations are accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is $25. Haris Razan knows that folks move out to Chicago's North Shore for lots of wonderful reasons, but one of them should be the proximity to his selection. He says for a sublime experience where service takes the cake, head to Lake Forest and join him at the English Room.
Expect the unexpected. We certainly are modeled after an old English manor house, and it's quite deceiving from the exterior, all that we have on the inside, and the feedback we often get is that people feel like they've been transported to another time and place. It is a finer dining experience that you don't see a lot these days. In the main dining room, it tends to be quieter in this space, and gracious, I guess, would be a great word for that. Whereas if it's nice out and we can use our outdoor courtyard, that's going to be a little bit more lively. It's a great mix, wide range of ages and folks that come to typically, in the evening will dine with us for a special occasion. It's as authentic as we can get here in the United States. Myself and the chef had traveled extensively throughout the United Kingdom to pick up really on a lot of the nuance and dynamics of the life of service and English tradition that you just can't Google.
So Haris, you say that the English Room is excellent. Why'd you choose it?
The English room, their food is fresh, their approach is classical, the room is beautiful, the service is amazing, the food is amazing. It's fresh. They do an almond-crusted Dover sole done the classical way, and it's absolutely excellent. Their steaks, their lamb is very good, their salmon.
The English room is actually located in, the Deer Path Inn, which has been around since the 20s.
It gives a whole new meaning to hotel food. If you really think about it, it is hotel food. And traditionally, I don't eat in hotels because I don't necessarily like their food. There are exceptions. But their food is absolutely phenomenal, and the food is so good, it actually makes you want to stay there.
Well, Kevin, what'd you think?
We decided to go early and have a drink down in the bar, and that was a nice experience because the bar is that great wood, and it just reminds me almost like a Wisconsin supper club in that sense. Then we went upstairs, completely different atmosphere, much more refined, fine dining. I cannot tell you how long it's been since I've had servers with white gloves. But we thought the food was quite exceptional. We really did. We enjoyed it, and the service was wonderful. 3.5 hours, I think we were there. We chose to have the lamb. It was also suggested pair it with an additional fish. So we actually ordered both fish. And it's interesting, we didn't dislike the Dover sole. It just wasn't our favorite. We thought the bass was much better.
The bass is good.
It is very good.
The bass
and
is killer.
The lamb was exceptional. It was medium rare, and it was done quite well. And the portions were quite impressive. That's why we were there for so long.
You had the soup, and you said you actually split it with your partner,
We started with 2 salads, had the pottage, the lobster, which they bring and put the lobster in the bowl, and then because we were splitting it, 2 of us were splitting it, they put it in the bowl.
The little pieces.
Pour the broth over it, but then divided it and allowed us then to have our own bowl. I just, fine dining, we're just used to, okay, push the bowl over here, and I'll have my portion, and okay, I'm ready now to give you mine. And we didn't. I mean, they chose to give us both. But, to see them coming towards you, having just put on their white gloves, it really is exceptional.
What'd you think, Mary?
So I actually went for afternoon tea with my sister. So we attempted to take the train up there. We had a little snafu, so we ended up sharing an Uber. Someone was actually going to a wedding at the Deer Path, and so we shared an Uber with these random people we met. So when we got to Lake Forest, we got there probably like an hour before our tea reservation, and so we kind of wandered around. I felt very out of my element, I'm not gonna lie, just because coming from the city, Lake Forest is, it's a little bit of almost like a culture shock. It's just very quiet and quaint. I don't know if I'm necessarily an afternoon tea person, because it kind of we felt like we were in a library. We couldn't talk too loud. We had to be very, and me and my sister, when we get together, we laugh and we're kind of loud, and so we were trying to tone it down so we didn't disrupt other people.
I could see though, if you came for an afternoon tea, why, because there probably wasn't packed, why you might feel that way, because it's a fine dining place, but I think that you could probably have jumped on the table if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Cucumber, ginger mascarpone, pumpernickel, smoked salmon, cream fresh.
Mary, let's talk then a little bit about what kind of the tea offerings were in terms of food.
Yeah, so they had very standard tea fare. Little cucumber sandwiches. They had some salmon pinwheels, which were actually really good. You could tell all the ingredients were super fresh and very high quality. They had little mini quiches. They had a vegetable option and a ham and cheese option, and then they had a whole wide array of tarts and little desserts. The space was absolutely gorgeous. The service was also phenomenal.
Being a history teacher, I appreciate you recommending it because I had no idea it existed. And it gives me reason to explore it even more.
Yeah.
I've had tea in England, high tea. I want to try I didn't even know there were tea rooms around.
I do think it is certainly worth a trip from any place in the Chicagoland area for a very unique experience. And the parking, when they say complimentary parking, they actually mean complimentary parking. They don't expect you to give them any money.
We didn't know what to expect because we pulled up and we were asked if we had been golfing earlier in the day. Were you able to get a round of golf? And no.
Well, Hurries, you chose the English room. Sum it up for us.
A hidden gem on the North Shore with outstanding food, remarkable service, and an approach to English dining that will make anybody happy.
And Kevin?
Elegant, but not stuffy. A great meal, but expect to be there a while.
And Mary?
It's an absolutely beautiful venue. If you have a special event that you're trying to plan, I definitely recommend it.
You can try it for yourself at the English Room, 255 East Illinois Road in Lake Forest, 847-234-2280. Open for breakfast and lunch every day, and dinner and afternoon tea Tuesday through Saturday. Reservations are accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is $55. Kevin Palmer knows that in a city dotted with family-run taco and burrito spots, it's sometimes hard to tell one from the next. That is, he says, until you pay a visit to Logan Square and become a devotee of El Patron.
The atmosphere, it's a fun atmosphere. Smells and colors, the people cooking in the kitchen, the sounds of the kitchen, the meat sizzling on the griddle. We usually got music going. There's a back patio on the back. It's BYOB, so you can bring a group of people and have some fun. I stand behind my steak. We use either choice or prime cuts here, and it's nothing but arrachera, so you're always gonna get a very fine cut of meat here. Well, I was born here in Chicago. My mom was born in Guadalajara, so we always grew up with her cooking, with her style, and they use a lot of guajillo peppers. They use a lot of tomatillo, a lot of roasted jalapenos. Growing up, she would have us roasted tomatoes on the grill for family cookout. She would have us season the meat and all that stuff. So, you know, it was my mom's idea to open up a taqueria and cook, grill the way we would grill at home. It feels good to know that a lot of people like my mom's home cooking.
Kevin, you say the customer always wins at El Patron.
Well, El Patron is a unique location and restaurant for Chicago, and for Logan Square, because we have so many restaurants in the area, it could be one that people walk by and don't even notice, but it's all about the tacos. It's the carne asada, it's the al pastor, it's the flavors, it's the crunch. There's just unique elements that I find it reminds me of when I was a young teenager and went to Mexico for a few weeks with my exchange student. And he would take me to these remote taquerias, and the minute I bit into one, it took me back. It took me back 30 years.
So this isn't one of these upscale taco joints that's popping up now?
Counter service, cash only, BYOB.
Okay. Well, Haris, what'd you think?
I have to be really honest. I have never been a big super fan of Mexican food. I'll eat it occasionally, but this place has really turned that on its head, because that was some amazing tacos. I can't even explain. I've been fiending for the fish and the spicy shrimp taco ever since. It was really an amazing experience. Loved the neighborhood, liked the people who worked there. It was clean, there was lots of parking, it was a great neighborhood, coupled with the fact that the tacos were fresh. We had the carne asada, we had the shrimp taco, we had the fish taco, we had the ribeye with onion taco, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I would go back there in a heartbeat. That place was great.
Okay, so Mary, your opinion is a little different.
I had a different experience. We decided, well, it's a Mexican place, we have to get the tacos. So we ordered 6 different tacos, just me and my husband, and tried to, get as much as we could. And we also ordered the gringa. We found the tacos to be very just mediocre. One thing is the only toppings that come on the tacos are cilantro and onions. And there are 2 foods in the world that I don't like, and it's cilantro and onions. But you can add toppings, but they charge you for each individual topping, which I thought was kind of I don't know, 40 cents for lettuce seemed kind of silly to me. But so we tried all the tacos. The al pastor was really good. That was definitely our favorite. The chorizo was also really good. But the carne asada, we thought that was pretty mediocre. The chicken was, we just did not like the chicken. But then, so then my brother and his sister, and my sister and his wife, they all showed up, and their cab driver had told them, oh, you're going to El Patron, you have to get the burritos. And so they got 3 different kinds of burritos, and I will say the burritos were phenomenal. So I would go there for the burritos, not the tacos.
Even though I say it's all about the taco, the burritos are amazing. So I would agree with you.
And the burrito doesn't have cilantro and onions, but it comes with all the other toppings.
But I can see why you wouldn't like some of them if it's cilantro and onions that you kind of you have a disagreement with. I can get that. I definitely would get that.
We also tried the burritos. The burritos were phenomenal. We also tried one of the tortas. The tortas were also very good. Portions were huge, and so I really enjoyed it. I thought it was worthwhile, and
so
it's
you
made
thought
me
for the
rethink
price
it.
you were getting then a good
I
deal.
thought the price was, for me, because I don't eat a lot of tacos, I thought the price was a little higher than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
But the quality of what I was eating kind of made that thought go away.
Well, they're known for their gringa and gringo.
Yes.
We had-
So,
we
and
had
I
the
know all of
gringo.
you
The
guys
gringo
tried that.
was-
Let's talk
the
about
gringo
this.
was- The gringo was excellent.
Yeah.
It was absolutely excellent. And interesting side story, when we bought when I ordered the gringo, I also got a carne asada taco, which I found a little chewy. I mentioned it. I just mentioned it because I just said, oh, well, I'm not going to worry about it. And I went back to my seat and I was eating the gringa, and they just came out with a carne asada, and it was absolutely excellent. So we talk about good customer service.
They are about service.
They are about service. I got to give them
similar. It's similar servers when I'm there. They kind of remember you after a while, and yeah, they're very dedicated to what they're doing.
I love it too because it's also BYOB, and so we went and we picked up some some Tecate and some Mexican beers, and we kind of camped out for a while, and we didn't feel rushed at all. And we just sat there. They had like buckets of ice for us and everything, and it was really nice and relaxing, and like
There's no pushing you out.
Well, Kevin, you chose El Patron. Sum it up for us.
If you're looking for a good taco that is unusual flavors, not your typical taqueria, then El Patron is for you. But also, don't forget the burrito.
And Haris.
high-end tacos and burritos without the high-end price, excellent service, and a place where you can find easy parking, great flavors. Go there, don't wait.
And Mary?
Go for the burritos, but skip the tacos.
You can try the burritos and more at El Patron, 3749 West Fullerton Avenue, 773-252-6335. Open for lunch and dinner every day, except closed on Tuesdays. Reservations are not accepted, alcohol is BYOB, and the average tab per person is $10. So in this week's show, we featured the Gundis Kurdish Kitchen in Lakeview, the English Room in Lake Forest, and El Patron in Logan Square. Let's recap what our guests had to say. First, we made our way up to Clark Street and checked out the Gundis Kurdish Kitchen. Mary recommends it and says it's a completely unique culinary experience. Kevin had a wonderful time and loved trying the symphony of flavors. Haris said the food was hit or miss. Next, we rode up to the north suburbs and dined at the English Room. Haris recommends it and says it's his go-to for special occasions because of the exceptional cuisine and a welcoming environment. Kevin thought the food was impeccable and loved the classy service. Mary wasn't wowed by the afternoon tea, but said the service was amazing. Lastly, we went west on Fullerton and tried El Patron. Kevin recommends it and says the tacos and burritos are authentic and delicious. Haris loved the food and said it changed his mind about Mexican cuisine. Mary thought the tacos were so-so, but loved the burritos. I want to thank my guests, Mary Parsons, Kevin Palmer, and Haris Razal. Join us next week for 3 new guests recommending 3 of their favorite restaurants right here on Check Please. I'm Catherine DiOrio, and I'll see you then. Cheers, guys.
For more information about the restaurants featured on Check Please, go to WTTW.com/checkplease.